Introducing the bad back computer desk. Here it is. I started with a bench purchased at Home Depot. One of those stools, I think actually it's called. And I removed the seat from it and used the same screw holes to screw into a piece of plywood, which is a 3/4 inch plywood, strong enough really for the application, that has that shape. I cut a hole for the face, and I'll send you the approximate dimensions of this piece. I cut a hole for the face in the plywood, as you can see, and then screwed it to the top of the stool. That was the first thing I did, right there. And then I have these two boards that if you can see, I screwed to the legs of the stool right there, so that I could run a board out to extend, keep you from tipping over forward. That is screwed into a cross piece up here at the front, all of this lining the floor. Okay, if you can see that, that's just a regular 1x4 that's bolted to the two legs, runs out front, and then has a T that crosses over to a similar board on the other side, right there. And then this column is bolted into that crossboard, and it's just, once again, a regular 1x4 that runs up and catches the end of that piece of plywood that I told you that it was that I had cut. Screwed all that together. Okay, this piece right here is the one that I made to hold the laptop. If you can see that, it's just a little spider that's up on top of it. I screwed that in at the end. So once that primary assembly is made, okay, then you can choose whatever you want to line the actual bench. I already had this cluttering up because of this weight machine that I disassembled and reassembled so that it would be less obtrusive to the space in my room. So I was left over with this that jutted out, and I used that to go ahead and line it. Once I cut a hole in this with an X-Acto knife, and then I wrapped it against the edges with strips from a t-shirt that I stapled to the underside of this. Okay. After that, I put 2 ring screws. I don't know, I'm not sure what those are called, but it's just a little screw that has a ring on the end of it, and ran an elastic band that runs down into a strap for your forearm, because if you've got the computer keyboard down here, okay, and you try to hold the full weight of your arms, it can get pretty tiring. So what you do is you run your hands through here and you rest your forearm pretty close to your elbow, and so your arms kind of bounce around, and that compensates the weight. Okay, I think that's about it, really, as far as the design, except for this mirror that I screwed into the side of the post. It's an adjustable mirror which can rotate under the screw and at the same time tilt an angle in such a manner that if I'm working on a computer or just lying there with back problems, I can tilt the mirror around so that I can watch TV, for example, and this might be useful if you want to watch a game or whatever. Well, season's over. But anyway, you can use this to watch TV and retain your downward position. And the bench itself, to be used, because it's kind of short, obviously, so it requires the assistance of a bed. What I do is I drag it over here close to the bed, at an approximate position like that. I'm going to try to give you an illustration of what it looks like to mount it, but I'd better put a t-shirt on, because this is not going to be pretty if I do it like this. Give me just a second.